Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World. Today we're going to look at a Stratocaster. I mean, I'm not a Strat guy, but I seem to have accumulated about 5 or 6 of them. So this particular guitar, which you have just seen in the intro, was made by Tokai for Fernandes, and the model number is an FST-60J. J for Juliet. Badged as a Fernandes. I think that's the stone logo. They refer to that as the stone logo. Now there is no date on this, but my understanding is it's a 1979 guitar. Now these were based on a guitar, going by what I read on the internet, based on a guitar that the legendary Jeff Beck played in Japan on a Japanese tour in 1978, I think it was. Now I will say I'm a huge fan of Mr. Jeff Beck, but I cannot play like Jeff Beck, so please go easy on me in this video. I'm not trying to be Jeff Beck, I'm just trying to show you the sounds of this rather fantastic guitar, which I think was designed for him, or the pickup assembly was designed for him by Seymour Duncan, legendary pickup maker Seymour Duncan. And he only seems to have used it on this Japanese tour. I could only find a few photographs. In fact, here's a couple of photographs of bootlegs from that tour with Stanley Clarke on bass. Jeff Beck and Stanley Clarke on bass. Well, Jeff Beck was playing guitar, but Stanley Clarke was on bass. Japanese tour 1978, here's a couple of bootleg CD covers. Now the special thing about this guitar is, hold it up here, is it has 3 mini switches. I'm looking point at them, 3 mini switches here for the pickups. So it's not your standard 5-way blade sort of selection. Now I think Jeff, according to what I read again on the internet, Jeff's was a 61 Strat which just had this scratch plate assembly dropped into it. But with these, what you get is, down on the pickups is on for each of them, so you can have all 3 pickups on, which you can't get in a normal Stratocaster. So you can get all 3 pickups on, and you can get a mix of the bridge and the neck pickup, again, which you don't get on normal Stratocasters. But what you also get is, when you flick them up, it then switches the phase on that particular pickup, so you get out of phase sounds on. So I think there's about 1.6 million sounds you can get on this. You can certainly get a lot. Some of them are very quacky and out of phase. Now I would say that to switch them off, as well as the volume, we'll talk about the fact there appears to be 2 volumes on this in a bit, but to turn them off you just switch it to the middle position and the pickups off, so you can just have them all in the middle and you have no sound. Arguably that's the best sound that I can get with this guitar with my playing style. So yes, it's an interesting array of sounds you can get. So what I've done is I've done some sound samples, just playing the one riff, and I flicked the switches to various positions so you can hear the plethora of sounds available. And at the end of the video I will apologise in advance. I've done a kind of blues jam based on an old Jeff Beck style tune. So yeah, a blues jam in B, what can I say, seemed like the appropriate thing to do. So let's have a look at this FST-60J in the 1979 Fernandes catalogue. Now as you can see, there's only 2 controls on the one in the catalogue, but there's 3 controls in this. And when I got it I thought, that's a bit strange. So I have done a video, I took the scratch plate assembly off. So let's have a look at this particular guitar and its constituent parts. So here's some of the film that I took when I was setting the guitar up. This is just the fingerboard, which seems to be rosewood, certainly a nice rosewood, nice grain on that. Dot position markers. Frets were in very good shape when it arrived as well. Now I'm filming this on my webcam, so I'm not entirely sure what the quality will be like. Hopefully it's okay. Now the neck is quite slim. In a bit I'll put the measurements of the neck and the neck profile. Let you see what it's like. Certainly slimmer than my Les Pauls, as I said. So let's look under the pickguard, let's look under the hood. So the pickups seem to be all original. Now the top pot, it's a big sort of push-pull pot. We'll talk about that in a bit. So this looks all original, there's no markings on the pickups. Certainly very dusty, very corroded looking there. But let's look at that big clump of wires in some more detail. There's all the routes and stuff. So let's look at that big clump of wires. So this comes off that push-pull pot. You know, how many wires are there? About half a dozen. It looks like they're all moulded together as well, and they've been taped round like a bit of cardboard or something like that. Not entirely sure what's happening, but it doesn't do anything at all. Now, the one body modification that has been done, the previous owner looks like they've cut like a bit out at the end so they can get to the truss rod, so they wouldn't have to take the neck off to adjust the truss rod. And it has 19 there. That's the only thing I can see, apart from there's a serial number on the neck, which I'll show you in a second. So there's the serial number there, 456052. I don't know what that means. There's the back of the guitar. Now, it had 5 springs when I got it, and the trem was so stiff it wouldn't move at all. It was screwed quite tight to the body, so I've taken 2 springs out and it's got 3 now. Trem block has Made in Japan STC P11 or P2, is that? Let's look at a few other similar guitars from the same era. This is FST-60J 78. Now, my guitar has 21 frets. Here's one that I found on Reverb 1980, and that has 21 frets as well, so keep that picture. But let's look at the actual catalogue from 1980, the Fernandes catalogue. So the guitar in the catalogue, the FST-60J, has 22 frets. How strange. Now, I found a few other guitars which have 22 frets as well. Now, these pickups are marked as L5002 × 3. So let's look at another couple of guitars that I found that have got 22 frets. So it seems to be 21 frets or 22 frets. I'm not entirely sure if there was a change during the year or something like that. Maybe 79 guitars had 21 frets, 1980 guitars had 22 frets. Who knows? So here's this guitar for sale, which has 22 frets. Now, Fernandes weren't the only company who made these Jeff Beck Strats. Greco did them, Aria did them as well. Let's have a look at a couple of other ones. There's an Aria Pro 2 ST600. Now, that has 21 frets. And they also were made by Greco. So Greco made 3 different ones. I'm not sure of the years, like if they changed, but they made 500s, 600s and 800s. So this is a 1981 SE800J. Now, I do have one of those, but when I got it, none of the pickups worked, and I just changed it out to a standard configuration of scratch plate and had to put replacement pickups in it. So it's got a 5-way blade switch. And they were also made by Fresher, believe it or not. Fresher are generally seen as quite a sort of budget level of guitar. Let's see what the Fresher one looks like. There it is. A Fresher FST-60J. 3 pickups. Now that has 21 frets as well. And finally, Squier. I've actually found a Squier one. So I must have been very, the JV Squiers, very early on. Made by Fujigen, I think. Well, I'm not entirely sure. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet. So 1982 Squier by Fender JV Series Jeff Beck Stratocaster. So that has 21 frets as well. So I would guess that's probably almost the same guitar as the Greco one. Quick look on the internet there to see what we could find related to Jeff Beck Stratocasters made in Japan, made by different companies. The Fernandes ones, you either get 21 frets, 22 frets. Like I said, I don't know if that just depends on the year they were manufactured, but the other ones, the Greco, the Aria, Fresher and the Squier ones all seem to have 21 frets. It's always a mystery with these Japanese guitars. Oh yeah, in case you're wondering, that is indeed a Boston baseball cap. We visited Boston for 4 days about 5 years ago, something like that. Loved it. What a beautiful place Boston is. It reminded me a lot of Edinburgh. Love to go back. Anyway, back to the video. There you have it. A 1979, as I say, there's no date on it, but I'm assuming it's 79. I think they were made from 79 to 81. Fernandes FST-60J, made by Tokai. It's a nice guitar. It's quite a slim neck, as I showed in the profile there. Certainly slimmer than the Les Pauls I'm used to, but it plays nice. And it came with the wang bar, which doesn't happen a lot when you get guitars from Japan, I must say. But it sounds great. There's so many different configurations you can get with this that are different from other Strats. Like I said, you can have all 3 pickups on at the one time, or you can have the bridge and the neck on. So you don't get that in a normal Stratocaster. So I'm quite pleased with this. Sounds good, plays well. That's all you need. Came in really good shape as well. The frets are all polished and stuff like that. So to play out, as I said earlier in the video, it is regrettably a blues bass jam in the key B. I do hope you enjoy it as ever, folks. It's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsy's Guitar World. I do like to show all these different types of guitars. You know, there's not a lot of people showing this kind of thing on the YouTube. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Cheers now.